It is hot, but we're certainly making the best of it here in Frankfort, Indiana, as we get set for some hot dog soccer here on the Hot Dog Network and the ISC Sports Network, as the Hot Dogs get set to take on the McCutcheon Mavericks in some boys high school soccer action. Alongside John Cupo, I'm Kurt Darling. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Today's game is brought to you by Eagles number 976. Tonight's game brought to you by Frankfort Eagles 9786. They are people helping people. By Day and Glenda and Genda Funeral Home, proud sponsors of high school athletics in Clinton and Carroll County. And by Healthy Communities of Clinton County, making the healthy choice the easy choice. And by Fiberhawk, fast, affordable Fiberhawk. Today's pregame show is brought to you by Day and Genda Funeral Homes, putting family first. Here for some high school soccer action here, getting set to kick things off here for the broadcast season here on the Hot Dog Network. And the Frankfort Hot Dogs, so far, looking really good this year, coming in 2-1 into this match.
Well, it was just about a year ago today that both of these teams squared off over in McCutcheon, going the full 80 for a 1-1 draw. We'll see if today, starting off things here at Frankfort, if they can play the full 80 minutes, see if one of these teams can put a W in the column.
And they're going to be taking on the McCutcheon Mavericks, who have gotten off to a rough start this year. They are 0-2 coming into this match under head coach Boyd Wheeler. He is 104-60-9 ever since 2013 as the head coach of the Mavericks.
These Mavericks, though, this 0-2 record, a little bit deceiving, is that in the summer they played in a classic, their summer classic, 3 games, 3 clean sheets in these games, and one of those games was against their first loss of the season, number 2 ranked Zionsville, in which they dropped 2-0, but they did win that game in that classic during the summer, so the results might be a little mixed. They got a great team over there at McCutcheon, and they came here ready to play, so it's a 3A versus a 2A. We're going to see what Coach Boyd Wheeler has for them in store today.
You also have to keep in mind that was a number 3 ranked team in the state, Zionsville, that they kicked the season off of, so that's certainly tough. They have yet to really get a win here today, this season rather, but now coming here on the road, this is going to be the second of a 6-game road stand that the Mavericks come in here against Frankfort.
Road weary? Hey, it's middle of summer. I don't think it doesn't matter with the heat that we have currently now. This was supposed to be a 5:30 start. We're playing here at 7:30. Still 86 degrees here. Probably a kickoff, but it's hot. These are kids. They can do it. They're going to have to spend their energy wisely through a whole 80 minutes, but I know these kids they're fine athletes. They're finally 2 athletes. Coach Tyson and Coach Wheeler have them ready to go, and it's going to be a great match tonight.
The Frankfort Hot Dogs won 10 matches just a season ago. They only drew to West Lafayette, and also they lost 6-2 to West Lafayette in the sectional opener. So both of their losses a season ago came to West Lafayette, but still they finished the season 10-2 on the year, winning the Sagamore Conference last year.
And that one draw to these McCutcheon Mavericks. So these two teams very familiar with each other, different faces, but a lot of youth on both sides of these clubs, both on the Blues and the Whites of the Mavericks. So, you know, a lot of the youth movement, it can be scary for coaches at times, but also can be very encouraging as they look forward from seasons to come.
Just going to have a couple of key players to look out for here today. One in particular for Frankfort is going to be Daniel Bustos Duarte, who's going to be starting at the forward position here today. He is a senior for Frankfort. He is certainly a perennial goal scorer for the Hot Dogs. But also on the other side of the coin, you have Saul Benuelos, who has a goal this year, but also 6 shots. He had 11 goals just a season ago back in the 2022 season. 11 career goals overall, rather. He had only 3 goals a season ago and then 6 back in 2021. And when it comes to just kind of preparing for certain teams, what do you look for when you're going through game film, just kind of preparing for the nuances of the teams that you're going to be facing match in and match out?
Well, one thing that Frankfort had to do was they knew that the Mavericks had lost their top leading goal scorer of last year, and that was, it was Cole Williams. Amazing, 13 goals last year, but it was Benuelos who was second on the team. So they know that that's their main focal point. They know that they're going to go to his right foot a lot during this match, and that's where the ball's going to end up. On the other side, we're going to take a break for the national anthem is what we're going to do.
Pause for the national anthem here. Don't go anywhere. Hot Dog Soccer coming at you next right here on the Hot Dog Network. And so there are your starting 11 for both sides here today. The starting lineups brought to you by Ardent Dental. Healthy smiles start here. Also the officials for tonight's game, Manuel Meswick, as well as Mark Brimmer and Colin Northcuss. Tonight's officials are sponsored by Aaron's Flooring, offering luxury vinyl, plank, carpet installation, and more. Visit aaronsflooringllc.com for more information or call 765-601-4145. And again, John, we mentioned Daniel Bustos Duarte as well as Saul Benuelos. Those are your players to watch. Brought to you by Fiberhawk. Go further, go faster, go fiber, and go fiber, go Fiberhawk. So, John, dealing with this heat, dealing, of course, with the true pitch here that you have to play on here at Frankfort, what are some of the keys to the game that you're going to be looking for early here in this contest?
One of the most important things for me, Kurt, is just the fact that these players need to know when to pick and choose their battles in this heat. I know they're kids, I know they're young, I know they're energetic, but it's 80 minutes. It's a lot of heat out there. The spurts, the quick action that they have to do, use your spacing wisely. Quick, short passes. Don't extend anything too much. Use your bursts of speeds. Get those quick bursts in front of the net, quick shots. You know, let the pace control this game. Don't let the heat beat you.
So it'll be McCutcheon with the opening kick here to get things going. 80 minutes of high school soccer set to go here on the Hot Dog Network. Caleb Folt's going to put his boot into it, and we're underway here at Frankfort High School. Again, it is a balmy mid-80s right now here with the sun blasting out of the west. And certainly a big factor that will happen throughout this game so far. As, of course, we'll probably expect some hydration breaks as well to make sure that these student athletes stay hydrated throughout the match. And already a big attack coming up the far side this time to Bustos Duarte, and he gets that pushed out of bounds, and it will be a corner coming up here for the Hot Dogs.
It was a great first opportunity, first set piece of the match for the Hot Dogs.
So the Hot Dog corner sent in a little short, now top of the 18. Just a missed strike right there by Vasquez Saavedra. Now here come the Mavs, splitting the defenders. It's going to be a close call, but it's going to be taken easily there by the goalkeeper, Escamilla. Giovanni Escamilla there starting in goal tonight here for the Frankfort Hot Dogs. And now a foul right at the top of the 18 here. It looks like here is signaled from the official. So it'll be a free kick coming up for the Mavs. Certainly a precarious situation to have a foul and a free kick right there at the top.
I'm not really sure what the foul was right there, but this is a very dangerous spot.
So it'll be Neri Pacheco, the freshman midfield here, setting up, as well as a couple other players. Looks like you have Angel Tovar as well in there. But now Pacheco, along with Kyle Schumann, the sophomore midfielder as well. So you have a multitude of players here. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to draw up here as time continues to roll off here in the first couple minutes here of this opening half. And a quick touch and just goes to the right of the upright there for the goal, and it'll be a goal kick coming up here for the Hot Dogs.
First true scoring opportunity. Just missed it wide right. Got to hit that ball a little bit more cleanly.
Again, the Hot Dogs 2-1 on the season coming into this one, coming off of a 2-1 victory over Crawfordsville back on August 19th. And now pushing it ahead onside here this time is Alex Castro. But he gets his pocket picked there by the defensive backline there for the Mavs.
It's a good recovery by the Mavericks defense. Castro had a wide open net there, but good recovery by the Mavericks.
And on the harassment on the defensive line there was Julian Santoyo for the Mavericks, the junior defensive center back. Working it ahead is Vasquez Saavedra. Ahead over to Hernandez. Back to Saavedra again. He pushes it ahead this time to Eric Hernandez. He has a little bit of an opening. He crosses inside. Just a missed one. Almost an own goal, and it goes out. And we continue play here as that was a little bit knocked on by Hayden Wagner of the Mavericks. And that was a scary situation there for McCutcheon. And it'll be cleared back to the other side of the field. Here comes Kyle Schumann in stride. And that is going to be
that's Marcelino Cervantes. That is veteran leadership right there. I was talking to Coach Tyson the other day, and he had mentioned Cervantes moving back from his normal midfield position this year to get some work for the freshman he moved back so we could get the freshman some work in the midfield, and just a fantastic job of using his body there to shield off the forward. And you can see the veteran leadership right there from number 10.
Speaking of number 10, it'll be Saul Benuelos here for McCutcheon to get the free kick. He sends it into the penalty area, and it's pushed back out here, but a recovery on the rebound, and it'll be pushed out and another goal kick here for the Hot Dogs.
Mentioning the freshman, it's number 15, Sebastian Mora. Coach Tyson saying that he's not a freshman that's going to knock your socks off order, but playing beyond his years, number 15, freshman midfielder, and one of the Cervantes brothers moving back to play defense. You can see why right there on that play.
Again, head coach Travis Tilson here for the Hot Dogs. 12-3-1 in his second season at the helm of Frankfort. As it'll be a throw in here for the Hot Dogs. 5 minutes gone, and it is still 0-0 here in the early going. This first half brought to you by Frankfort Eagles, number 976, serving the community since 1905. With over 900 members locally, Frankfort Eagles offers something for everyone. For more information on who they are and what they do, visit f.o.e.com or stop by the Frankfort Eagles at 408 North Main Street in Frankfort. Here's a good attack on the far side, this time by Bustos. He stops short, tries to send it in, and it gets harassed and taken over here by Angel Tovar. Still, though, keeping the pressure up is Hernandez.
Good pressure by Hernandez.
Hernandez tries to keep it in the penalty area. He tries to get a little bit of an effort, but a big save there by the goalkeeper of the Mavericks. And that is Riley Slunaker of the Mavericks starting in goal tonight. He has so far 80 minutes in goal on the seasons with 3 goals allowed and 2 saves. Working in the midfield now are both of these sides. Pushed ahead, trying to find Tovar. He keeps it just in play. Has to get around the defensive backs this time here. Pushed ahead, and almost a good opportunity there by the Mavericks. And off the rebound goes to Fultz. Shot inside, off the top of the crossbar from 25 yards out. That was Diego Morales getting a boot inside of that one there, and it just is a missed opportunity there by McCutcheon.
Everybody in the stadium kind of gave up on that shot, and it got part of the top of the crossbar.
You certainly saw the goalkeeper, Escamilla, just kind of watching and hoping it would not bounce in, and it was just in his favor right there. Ahead this time again. Back and forth we go. Working the defense right there again is Mora, the freshman. And he pushes back into his goalkeeper. In the midfield. Ahead to the striker this time. That is Cesar Alanis. And he gets it shoved out of bounds. It will be a throw in here for the Mavs. And it just seems to me here, John, both of these teams have kind of skipped the feeling out process and going right on the attack on both sides.
Yeah, it's just a lot of free ball right now. I haven't seen a lot of 1-2 touches to anybody particular, not running a lot of set pieces or any plays for that matter. It's just kind of a free ball will right now, but I'm sure that's just the early stage of this match right now, just kind of getting the nerves out, getting it ready, and we'll see what happens as this match progresses.
Free kick for the Mavericks about 30 yards out from the goal. That's Hayden Wagner putting it in. Nobody home. A lot of good strikes inside for both of these squads. And Escamilla will put it back out again here this time. And he'll signal in a little bit of help here from Marcelino Cervantes.
One clear advantage I can see right from looking on the field, Kurt, is the size advantage that the Mavericks have as far as height's concerned. I think they can win a lot of head balls inside that box. So Frankfurt's going to have to win with a lot of speed.
And the speed is something they certainly have. It led them to 10 wins just a season ago. You look at the Mavericks' schedule, though, again, they're going to be playing 6 road games in a row. One of those going to be at number 4 Fishers coming up here on August 26th. So not only they have that size strength, they also have a strength of schedule as well coming out of the North Central Conference. Mavs with a long ball. Onside is Tovar. And he just loses the handle on it. Good defensive pressure there by Orlando Vasquez Saavedra. Still put back into the penalty area, and an easy handle that time by Escamilla.
I think right now for the Hot Dogs is they just have to figure out, it seems to me from what I'm seeing right now, it looks like that the Mavericks are in a 3-2-3-2. And Frankfort, with the exception of the 2 through balls to Hernandez, haven't seen to generate anything offensively. So they have to figure out a way to get through that 5-man back.
This portion of the match brought to you by the coalition that is committed to reducing the risk factors contributing to chronic disease, including health disparities by decreasing stigma and encouraging policy, system, and environmental changes. The vision of healthy communities is to make the healthy choice the easy choice. For more information, visit healthyclintoncounty.org. So here in the 29th minute, free kick here from about 25 yards out here this time for Gael Hernandez. Sent in short, and it'll go just to the left. Maybe a slight mishit right there by the senior.
One of the team captains for Coach Tyson is Gael Hernandez. Just off the side of his foot. Needs a cleaner strike on that.
So it'll be Sloonacre putting his boot into it here, putting it back into play. Christian Cervantes now into the lineup here for the Hot Dogs. Pushing it ahead here are the Mavs. Schumann onside in, and it just crosses in front and wide. Nearly a goal given up right there by the Hot Dogs.
Kyle Schumann with one of the 2 goals on a PK, but nonetheless one of the 2 goals for the Mavericks so far. Had a nice strike off his left foot. Just left it a little right towards the keeper. He may have gotten, I don't know, it kind of looked from our angle. He may have gotten a fingertip on it, but the referee decided otherwise, so free kick.
Kyle Schumann, only a handful of shots taken so far this year. He had 1 goal off of 9 shots in all of 2022. So Coach Boyd Wheeler looking for a lot more production out of him this season. Once again, Tovar coming up on the near side. Trying to find an opening, but that is some stiff defense that Orlando Vasquez Saavedra is playing there.
Seems to be a strategy early, working this left side of the pitch with Tovar.
Couple touches and cleared out this time by Cervantes. Trying to push it ahead that time was the freshman Castro. And back into the Mavs' possession. Knocked ahead. And another long ball this time by Saavedra. McCutcheon starting to dominate the time of possession category here over the last couple of minutes. Ahead this time, and a corner coming up. So this will be the first corner kick of the afternoon for the McCutcheon Mavericks. And doing the honors, Morgan Gray, the midfielder, a junior. Sent in low. Easy handle that time by the defensive players there for the Hot Dogs.
See, that's where Gray has to use the advantage of the height of his other players.
Here's an opportunity now for Frankfort. Castro trying to get around the center backs this time for McCutcheon, but he didn't have a whole lot of help there with him, kind of catching the other strikers off guard that time. And another empty possession here for Frankfort. Throw-in coming in here for Corbin Vanette of the Mavericks as we see a couple substitutions now this time. And it'll be Sam Puentes, the senior defender for the Mavs, coming in.
Kurt, you just mentioned it briefly ago. We're coming up on 25 minutes and just the time of possession already. I mean, it's one and done for Frankfurt so far. Mavericks completely controlling the tempo and pace of this game.
Mavericks playing a little more organized here at the moment. Puentes trying to send it ahead. It's pushed out of bounds that time by Julian Luz. Centoyo trying to look the long ball inside, but again, there is Saavedra. In the midfield, the Mavericks trying to set something up. Pushed ahead this time, an opportunity for Schumann. But he's harassed that time by Cervantes.
Cervantes just kind of a one-man wrecking crew back there in the box defensively.
Bringing it ahead is Bustos Duarte. And again, he gets his pocket picked along the far sideline. Goes out of bounds, a throw-in coming up this time for Frankfurt. And as the game has gone on here, John, we've seen both of these teams get some good opportunities. But again, as I mentioned, over the last 10 minutes or so, the Mavericks have really started to shore things up on defense. As you see, they have a whole line of players right there, right at the 18.
Yeah, as soon as Frankfurt starts to amount to anything, you see 2-3 defenders back for the Mavericks, just shutting off anything offensively from Frankfurt.
Hernandez loses the handle back to McCutcheon again. A lot of headers across midfield. Schumann has a break. He fires. And an easy save that time by Sloanaker. Kind of a miss hit there by Schumann. But Escamilla comes up with the big save right there for Frankfurt.
Schumann wanted to take one more so he could get it to his right foot, but he couldn't do it. And it's just a little lazy shot off of his left.
So that's about the second shot on goal that the Mavericks have had this game so far. The first save by Escamilla. And still the Mavericks keeping possession at the moment. Schumann. Good tackle there by Hernandez to break the stride. And now pushing it ahead again. Frankfurt onside this time. Here is Castro. Goalkeeper out of the box. And he just gets back in to dive on it and stall that opportunity there for the Hot Dogs.
That was very close for being a handball outside of the box, but referee didn't see it, so nobody else did, so play on.
Certainly an interesting decision there by Sloanaker to come that far out of the box with that kind of attack coming up.
Very aggressive.
This portion of the match Brought to you by Day and Genda Funeral Home, where they believe in putting family first. As active members in the community, they also know when dealing with a loss, seeing a familiar face and being treated like family is important. Day and Genda Funeral Home will serve your family in a unique and loving way and be the family you need. For more information about services from Day and Genda Funeral Home offers, please visit dayandgenda.com. So both teams just kind of going back and forth here over the last minute as we enter the halfway point here of this opening half.
Kurt, one thing we're seeing a pretty frantic pace by both teams, playing very fast. And I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, I know they're kids and I know they're youthful, but I don't think they can maintain this pace throughout the 80 minutes. Sun's starting to set a little bit. The temperatures are starting to cool just a tad, but it's still warm out there, and this game is going to slow down.
Also have yet to see a hydration break, if we'll have one here at some point. It is still incredibly hot out there. It got as high as in the mid to upper 90s in some places, heat index-wise.
We may have one up here before we see one on the field.
No kidding. The broadcasters are sweating just like the players at the moment. Up top this time, that is Tony Villegas, rather.
You got a paw on it.
And going to be a handball, a free kick coming here for the Hot Dogs. Again, last year these two teams met. It was a 1-1 draw. As McCutcheon in the last 10 years against Frankfort is 2-0-1. So they have never lost to the Hot Dogs over the 3 meetings that they have had all time.
I think one thing to recognize from a year ago, Kurt, from both of these teams was the overall record, but it's their conference record. With the Hot Dogs going 7-0 and then McCutcheon going 6-1. You mentioned the loss to West Lafayette, but just I don't know if it's when we get ready to play who we have to play to get ready for that big time, but just outstanding records within the conference from both of these clubs.
Offside call, and there is the proverbial hydration break that we will see. So they stop the clock at 19 minutes, 13 seconds for these players to get a drink of water, probably much deserved here, even though it has been a 0-0 game so far. A dominated time of possession here by the Mavs through this first 20 minutes.
Yeah, McCutcheon has just been on that side of the pitch for the majority of this game, and the few chances that Frankfort has had have just been met by a flurry of Maverick defenders. I think we've seen the 2 chances from Eric Hernandez up in front of the box, but nothing really where the goalkeeper, Escamilla, or I should say Sluniker, had to make much of a move on his behalf. So, with a 2A team, this is great for Frankfort. This is about the best experience that they can get playing a bigger school, a team that you mentioned is going to go on the road. They're going to play 6, but they're playing schools like Fishers and those North Central teams, which are big bodies and everything like that.
Couple of highlights we can see here from this first half so far.
And you can see just the pace of play. We're not going to see this throughout, and that's probably why we're at a hydration break right now, is that these kids are playing at a frenetic pace. I know Frankfort's hungry. I know they want this one. I know that last year almost a year ago to the day, that they came to a 1-1 draw against these same Mavericks in McCutcheon's house. So they want to say we're home now. We can take this one. And, hey, even though the Mavericks, it's 0-0 right now, and Mavericks have controlled the pace of the game, but it's still 0-0. So one slip, one through ball could be 1-0.
Indeed, it could be. Plenty of opportunities have been had so far here by both of these squads. McCutcheon, though, as you saw in that highlight reel, had a really big opportunity there by Kyle Schumann. He's really gotten on the ball here with a couple of attacks for the Mavs.
They seem to be working that left side of the pitch, as I mentioned. It's going through Angel Tovar and then going into the cross of the middle. And Kyle Schumann, as I mentioned, when he had that breakaway, he just wanted one more step. If he could have got a quick strike off of that right foot, I think we would have saw 1-0. But he just mishit a little bit, kind of a little slow roller into the arms of Escamilla. That's okay. It's good offense by the Mavericks. It seems right now something's going to give.
And one thing that may have to give here, especially for the Hot Dogs, is something on offense, because you mentioned it earlier, they're only maybe getting 1 or 2 touches before they end up surrendering possession. What do you do to try and get organized on the offensive end?
It seems to me, Kurt, that they started off in a 4-4-2. Maybe they have to go 3-2-3-2. Maybe it's just pushing another defender up or whatnot, but they don't have the offensive firepower that the Mavericks had. We talked about height and speed and everything like that. They're a smaller team. Maybe push an extra midfielder up, put some more pressure on the goalkeeper, put an extra body in that box, maybe squeeze something through.
Almost an opportunity right there by the freshman Castro, but again, he was kind of left by his lonesome, and it was an easy handle there by Sluniker, the goalkeeper for the Mavs.
And that's what you're seeing, Kurt. When you're seeing the Mavericks work on offense, you're seeing a lot of white jerseys inside the box around the penalty area. When Frankfort has the ball, it's one, they're looking, there's really no one to help out, and they got to do it on their own, and it's not going to work out.
Tony Villegas, the sophomore here for the Mavs. He gets his pocket pick now, this time by Bustos. He pushes it ahead. Good opportunity and a trip, and that's going to be a foul coming up here, indicated by the side judge. And actually, he was going to be called offside. So offsides is the call, so it was pushed ahead. They're looking for Castro, but he was just a little bit past the back defender to get the flag here on the sideline. So goalkeeper here for the Mavs is Adil Pasentia. And he had the handle right there at the moment on that previous offside there from the Hot Dogs.
One thing I give a lot of these keepers credit for is their aggressiveness. They're not afraid to come out of their comfort zone and come out of the box to attack some of these through balls.
Free kick here for the Hot Dogs in the midfield. Marcos Batista Garcia going to send it on the ground. Into the middle, Hernandez. And again, he loses the handle. Another 1-2 touch possession there for the Mavs rather, as Schumann tries to send it ahead, looking for. And that was Keegan Plantanga, who subs in for the Mavs here, and he couldn't quite handle it.
Something you're not seeing from Frankfurt right now is just spacing. Everybody's kind of grouped together once they get the ball, and no one is spacing to any open space for them to put any through balls or 1-2 touches.
Up top, looking for an opening there was Tovar. He leaves it for Villegas. Mavs getting organized. Long strike shot. Score! From 30 yards out, Tony Villegas with a sure foot goes right through the hands of Escamilla. And it is a 1-0 game in favor of the Mavs.
You can see it right there. Now, I don't know, from our vantage point, you can kind of see sun, shadow, sun in that goal, and went right through the midst of Escamilla into the back of the net.
Goal in the 15th minute for Tony Villegas, the sophomore midfielder, his first of the season. And now the Hot Dogs going to have to try and play catch up here to try and find an equalizer. Cervantes knocks it ahead. Trying to look for Hernandez again, and it's, again, the stout back line here for the Mavs has just been stellar.
You can see it on your screen right now, Kurt, as you can see shadow, sun, shadow, sun. So I wonder if that had to do with something with Escamilla right there, just seeing it, kind of seeing it all the way in and just losing it last second.
The sun is
Tough
now,
break.
It's approaching that tree line across the street. So certainly can affect some lines of vision right there. Back in the midfield again, and the Mavs are just dominating possession in the midfield, setting up a lot of opportunities for them. Here's Fultz.
And unfortunately, Kurt, in a game like this, the more possessions that you get, the more opportunities you have, the more possession that you control, eventually it's going to happen, and in that case it did.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Aaron's Flooring, offering luxury vinyl, plank, carpet installation, and more. Visit aaronsflooringllc.com for more information or give a call at 765-601-4145 for a free quote. The Mavs going back and forth in the hot dog zone, and nearly an offside right there.
As you can see, and even with Castro there's just one man there amongst a sea of white jerseys. So I think fatigue is starting to set in on Frankfort.
It is hot out there. It can certainly take a toll, and we still have another 40-minute half to play once this 12 minutes comes to a conclusion. Pushed ahead. Mavs come away with it once again. Knocking it ahead. Here's Centoyo. Over to Fultz. And going to be cleared out there by the back line of the Hot Dogs. There's Villegas. He had the goal just a couple of minutes ago to put the Mavs up 1-0. And the Mavericks, again, just being very calculated right now with where they place the ball.
Well, you can see on that through ball right there, Castro was the only blue jersey within 10 yards of that through ball. No help up front for Frankfort.
So the Hot Dogs right now in full defense mode as the Mavs keep pouring it on from this front line. And it goes out as we'll have a couple more substitutions here for both teams. It'll be Wagner coming out here at the moment for the Mavs, and they're going to be getting a replacement up front here as well for the Hot Dogs.
The junior Ethan Hudspeth.
And he will come in for the freshman Castro. So once again, Hudspeth I know. So Castro, the senior, coming out. So Sebastian Mora going to send it in now for the Hot Dogs, trying to find Hudspeth, and instead he gets it into the hands of the feet of Hernandez. And Hernandez can't quite keep possession of it as he's immediately swarmed by a sea of Maverick defenders.
It's not the wrong idea to try to get it to the feet of Hernandez. I mean, he's been the most viable person out there to do anything in the blue jerseys. Just not a lot of opportunities for him.
And a strike in midair right there by Caleb Fultz.
Not a bad volley right there.
Indeed, but it just goes a little bit wide. It just seems to me here, John, that the time of possession here for the Mavs really has the Hot Dogs on their feet, and it's just drawing more players back into a more defensive stance. And so when they are able to get some of those breakaway opportunities, like this, for example, there aren't exactly a whole lot of options, but here the Hot Dogs actually have a little bit of an opportunity. But again, that one touch goes awry.
And this just seems to be the common theme. You know, we're coming up on 9 minutes, and once again get to the right side of the pitch, and once that ball hits one of the Frankfurt's forwards' feet, there's nobody to help him. He's got to go one-on-one, and I just don't think the skill ability to take on 2 or 3 defenders is there for Frankfort.
So again, the Mavs will opt to meander their way up here into the final 10 minutes of this opening half. Trying to keep it ahead here are the Hot Dogs. And here's a little bit of an opening for Mora. But not enough steam on that volley to Bustos. And so the Mavericks are doing what they've been doing all game long, and that is possessing the ball. Pushing ahead, no dice this time, trying to find Santoyo. Santoyo with it now again. Trying to push it ahead, looking for Fultz this time. And a little bit too much juice on that one. Goes out, but it's knocked out by the Hot Dogs. Throw in coming. Up top. That's Morgan Gray. Now Villegas again. That's where he hit from just a few minutes ago. But the Hot Dogs are wary of it that time.
And you can see the difference right in this possession right here, Kurt, is just the spacing of the Mavericks alone, able to get a couple passes. They did turn it over right there, but able to recover with more white shirts just around the ball.
And there is Bustos again trying to navigate his way around Morales of the Mavs. This back line for the Mavericks has just really been solid over the last half hour. So waiting on the throw in here. Again from Diego Morales. Hupspith tries to push it ahead. And leaving it for the midfield that time was Hernandez. But still the Mavs come away with it. And Santoyo gets sent right into the fence. And it's going to be a free kick, rather a throw-in. And now another one there, kind of some tit-for-tat going on here after that shove out of bounds.
Do unto others as you want done to you, I guess. The old mother's adage.
But in the end, the Hot Dogs come away with the free kick. So here is Orlando Vasquez Saavedra.
This is actually one of the few opportunities we see the majority of blue shirts on the opposing side of the pitch.
Good ball sent inside.
Now they just have to control it.
And the referee going to stop play here as he's looking towards the sideline. And it looks like Coach Tyson's having a word with the official as he stops play with time still rolling. And it's going to be a free kick, it looks like, here for the Hot Dogs. Kind of a interesting decision right here as we...
Makes you kind of wonder who was barking over there.
So as Mora fixes a flat tire there, he'll take the free kick. He sends it in. And it's in! Score for the Hot Dogs! A nice arc there sent in by Sebastian Mora.
Well, sometimes it's not just as long as you have it, just as long as you have it just once.
Let's take a look at this again. And it just gets by
that ball.
Plasencia.
That ball took the wrong hop at the wrong time on Plasencia. And, wow, great strike by the freshman. We were just talking about him, how Coach Tyson wanted to get him some playing time on the pitch, moving Cervantes back into the defender role, let him get a touch, takes a free kick and puts it in for the – we were talking about it before. What do we call it?
Equalizer,
there it is.
Everybody. That is the official soccer term right there.
Been waiting for it all match.
So in the 5th minute, we are all dead even again at 1 goal apiece. This portion of the match Brought to you by Mulberry Telecommunications. Let us be the first to welcome you to the Fiberhood. Mintel Fiber Optic Services offer super fast, reliable internet with gigabit speeds, streaming TV packages, and voice solutions. Sign up today at www.mintel.net. That's MINTEL.net, or call 765-296-2885 for more information. And alongside John Cupo, I'm Kurt Darling. It's been a match that's heavily favored the Mavs over the majority of this, but the Hot Dogs getting the equalizing goal just a minute ago after giving up a goal to Tony Villegas of the Mavs there in about the 15th minute earlier on. And certainly, John, a goal like that can put a little bit of pep in your step if you're the Hot Dogs after you've been pretty much been dominated as far as time of possession wise.
Well, not only that. I mean, the hydration break was one thing, but you know, and I know these players, they're looking at that scoreboard pretty much more than they're looking at the goal at this point. They want to get to that half. They want to get refreshed. They want to loosen up those legs, get some water inside them. But a goal like that's going to give them a lot of boosted energy heading into that second half.
Again, this is one of the few non-conference games that Frankfort are facing here today. Of course, McCutcheon playing out of the North Central Conference. McCutcheon were longtime members of the Hoosier Crossroads Conference before conference realignment in the early 2010s. Sent them down to 5A with the restructuring of football, and so they joined the North Central Conference, whereas Frankfort have been part of the Sagamore Conference since its inception. As the sun sets here over Frankfort, temperatures starting to cool down now. The Mavericks with Centoyo. There's Contreras. Back to Centoyo again. Certainly crowded with some blue jerseys, and now here's an opportunity for Castro. Castro, the senior, going to get a throw in here as it's touched out of bounds by the Mavs.
Castro hasn't had a lot of clean touches up front, but he's been extremely busy up there.
He and the junior Hudspeth, now the strikers up front. But still they surrender the possession here as the Mavs will have a throw-in. Couple substitutions for the Mavs as well. They include Corbin Vanette, who's back in, the sophomore. And now a whistle looked like maybe a shove from behind here as we get a stoppage in the clock right now. And the official going to have a word here with Caleb Fultz, the junior striker. And so now they run the clock. And a free kick coming for Frankfort. Pushed ahead here for Saavedra. Saavedra knocks it ahead, gives himself some space. Top of the 18, strike this time from Castro. Miss-hit, and it's going to be corralled this time by Plasencia. That was the right idea if you're the Hot Dogs. Good tackle there on the far side that time by Cesar Alanis. And the quick throw in, though, going to stay with the Mavs. Knocked ahead. Onside this time is Vanette. A little too onside, rather, as it goes too far. And now a whistle, and this time they're going to get another offside call deep in the zone that time there of the Hot Dogs, and a free kick coming up here for Frankfort.
Kurt, one thing I've noticed, and it's been a complete momentum shift, and I'm not sure when the substitution happened, but when Angel Tovar came out of the game from this left side, I said that the offense was working through him. I have not seen him on the field for a long stretch of time, and that's really when Frankfort has started to pick up the momentum and started to control this pace of the game. So Angel Tovar, number 9 for the Mavericks, out of the contest, and it's been a major momentum shift on behalf of the Frankfort Hot Dogs.
So maybe a little bit of An opportunity that the Hot Dogs are taking advantage of here as they try to work it up again. Mishit by the Mavs as Hubsmith tries to keep it, but again, here comes McCutcheon. It's Schumann, and he gets it shoved out, but that'll take us to the end of the opening half. Well, certainly been entertaining as it has been hot here in this first half. It is 1-1 here, going to halftime here between the Hot Dogs and the Mavericks here for IHSAA soccer action. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Hot Dog Network and the ISC Sports Network.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Indiana. This message presented by the IHSAA and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hi there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we do Query and Schultz on ISC Sports Network. And Derek, unlike Ted Lasso, we have a third season.
That's right. Season number 3 right now, ISCSportsNetwork.com.
Are they doing a third
You can
season
see
on that show?
episodes on Comcast 81 as well, Mondays at 7:30. I'm talking about our show, Jake, this beloved show that people tune into every single week. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, so many ways to watch Query and Schultz every Monday, 7:30. Tune in and hang out with us.
And you don't have to be a goldfish. You'll remember everything we say.
Meet Henry. Henry is hip. Henry loves the new Mintel TV streaming app. And check out Helen. With features like Cloud DVR, Restart, and Look Back TV, Helen never misses her favorite shows. And this? Well, this is Bob. Bob can't contain his excitement for the new Mintel TV streaming app. Bob is proving that you actually can teach an old dog new tricks. What do you say, Bob? Does the Mintel TV app get a thumbs up? All right, Bobby-o. Mintel TV, the next generation of awesome. Upgrade today.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Some see a start to a swim meet. We see the starting blocks for life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
For the ultimate Wi-Fi experience, you need a managed Wi-Fi service with advanced Blast Wi-Fi. Blast Wi-Fi systems provide ultimate coverage, ultimate performance, and ultimate power all the time. Available from Mulberry Telecommunications, Blast Wi-Fi systems feature the latest Wi-Fi 6 technology and are equipped with unrivaled bandwidth and 4 times more simultaneous connections so you can connect tons of devices throughout your home with no lag and no downtime. Plus, with 24/7 support and remote troubleshooting, you can rest assured that Mulberry Telecommunications is always here to help you should any issues arise. It's the ultimate Wi-Fi experience, and it's a blast. Blast Wi-Fi is now included with Mulberry Telecommunications fiber internet packages. Contact Mulberry Telecommunications at 296-2885 today to get started.
I brought you a present. A book.
Follow the adventures of the Ardente Dental team as they fight cavities, gum disease, and create beautiful, healthy smiles.
Inconceivable. Hello, my name is Dr. Snyder. You cause cavities. Prepare to die. Inconceivable. To make your smile look straight and fine, our braces per month are just $1.99. Inconceivable.
You keep using that word, I do not think it means what you think it means.
Have fun at Ardente Dental.
Some see a student athlete working on a shot. We see a powerful lesson in persistence. Some see a student preparing for success on an exam. We see a student athlete preparing for success in life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
The Command IQ app helps me manage the Wi-Fi in every room of the house however I want. Like this room, where my wife talks to her friends in her book club every week. She's my best friend.
Okay, but time out. Have you seen the abs on the latest Bachelor? My husband used to have abs, but now he just has flabs. I don't know. Now, he said he works out, but I think...
It's not a book club meeting, it's a make fun of me meeting. Well, what happens in book club doesn't always stay in book club. So?
Oh. Darla? Honey, my Wi-Fi is down. That never happens.
Well, that's strange. Well, we'll see if we can get someone to come fix it next month.
Okay, but what am I supposed to do about book club?
I don't know. Maybe read a book? Command IQ, you're my new best friend.
Some people see a huddle in the locker room. We see a second classroom. Some see a student athlete on the court. We see a future leader in the community. You see, high school sports in Indiana are special. That's because they're about learning and growing, not just winning and losing. Fans, I'm Commissioner Paul Neidig. Support education-based athletics in Indiana by buying a ticket to your high school's next athletic event.
Many communities in rural America are often overlooked as underserved. These communities are being left behind due to lack of internet and access to state-of-the-art technology. That's why Mulberry Telecommunications provides rural broadband services and technology and is growing their presence in north central Indiana. Because every community deserves infrastructure and beyond. To learn more, contact us today.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Some see a start to a swim meet. We see the starting blocks for life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Mulberry Telecommunications is proud to announce the next generation in awesome, Mintel TV. With the Mintel TV streaming app, you aren't confined to just your TV, but you need two things: high-speed fiber internet from Mulberry Telecommunications and a Mintel TV subscription. Available on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV, and more, with features that include Cloud DVR, Restart TV, look-back options, and pause live TV. Mintel TV is definitely the next generation of awesome. Current customers, call 765-296-2885 for your free upgrade. New customers, visit Mintel.net to sign up today.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Indiana. This message presented by the IHSAA and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Running a small business. Your hands are full. We can help. FiberHawk partners with local companies by providing business-class internet, phone, TV, and customized bundles to meet your needs. Our fiber-powered system delivers reliable speed with enhanced security. Running a business is tough. Contact FiberHawk today and let our expert team give you a hand.
Hi there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we do Query and Schultz on ISC Sports Network. And Derek, unlike Ted Lasso, we have a third season.
That's right. Season number 3 right now, iscsportsnetwork.com. You can see episodes on Comcast 81 as well, Mondays at 7:30. I'm talking about our show, Jake, this beloved show that people tune into every single week. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, so many ways to watch Query and Schultz every Monday, 7:30. Tune in and hang out with us.
And you don't have to be a goldfish. You'll remember everything we say.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Indiana. This message presented by the IHSAA and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
I brought you a present. A book.
Follow the adventures of the Ardente Dental team as they fight cavities, gum disease, and create beautiful, healthy smiles.
Inconceivable. Hello, my name is Dr. Snyder. You cause cavities. Prepare to die. Inconceivable. To make your smile look straight and fine, our braces per month are just $1.99. Inconceivable.
You keep using that word, I do not think it means what you think it means.
Have fun at Ardente Dental.
Halftime is about concluded here at Frankfort High School on the Hot Dog Network and the ISC Sports Network. Alongside John Cupo, I'm Kurt Darling. Let's take a look at your Fiberhawk first half highlights. John, needless to say, no shortage of them here in that first half.
No, and it was really all McCutcheon in the first half. You can see a couple of through balls. That was really the first true shot that McCutcheon had. Everybody was kind of like, what was going to happen with that? And just luckily the crossbar said no on there. And here, so we're going to look at a free kick here by Gail Hernandez. And there was a shot wide right. And just the opportunities that were there. But really what happened in that first half, Kurt, was just goalie play. It was off the hands of Escamilla in the first shot for the Mavericks, and then just an unlucky bounce towards Placencia for the Frankfort goal. So total control by the Mavericks in that first half, but as I mentioned, it was Angel Tovar. I can't emphasize that enough. When Angel Tovar, the winger, came out in that first half, it shifted momentum to the Frankfort Hot Dogs. They got more pressure towards that goal, and it allowed Sebastian Moore to take that great free kick. It allowed a lot more blue jerseys in that penalty box, causing more confusion in the goal, and that's why we have a 1-1 draw right now.
Needless to say, though, when we've hammered into the ground, time of possession has really been a big factor in this game, especially for the Mavericks. So if you're the Hot Dogs, what do you do to try and tip that scale back into your favor?
They were in a 4-4-2. I think with now we have seen that the sun has began to set. There is no more glaring sunshine on the field. The shadows have set. The lights are on. It has cooled down considerably since the kickoff. So these players are refreshed now. I think as far as momentum's concerned, there's going to be a little bit more juice from Frankfort, but they just have to keep the pressure on. They know they're the smaller team than the Mavericks, but they have a little bit more speed, maybe a little bit more quicker, and that momentum push heading into that second half may help them out here.
Meanwhile, the Hot Dogs applying some pressure here in the early going, trying to find Castro up top there was Cervantes, and it's easily handled there by Placencia.
That is one thing that Frankfort cannot afford to do in the second half if they have a chance to win, is cannot leave these forwards on an island by themselves. They have to have help when they're up there.
Of course, you see a lot of different formations in the game of soccer internationally and all over the world, and some of those formations do sometimes include a single striker up top. But with the type of game that's unfolding right now, that's certainly not ideal with how it's been playing out.
Well, at this point, especially just the aggressiveness, what did Coach Tyson tell his team? What did Coach Wheeler tell his team? Go to space. is really what you have to do. You can say 3-2, 3-2 all day long. You can say 4-4-2 all day long, but just go to space. Find that open spot, get to where you need to be, and get that ball to where it needs to go.
Ricky Ruiz into the game for the first time here for the Mavericks. He sends it up top, and now inside this time trying to get it into the feet there of Neri Pacheco, but it's a little too far, in a goal kick coming up here for Escamilla.
Coach Wheeler very high on his young freshman. The midfielder Ricky Ruiz, also a football player, puts on the pads, kicks for the Mavericks football team.
You certainly see a lot of that crossover with the football with double O and the football with a U, depending on the athletes that you have at your disposal at some of these high schools. Meanwhile, here was an interesting take coming up this time for Caleb Foltz. He gets slightly harassed there by Vasquez Saavedra. And Foltz wanted a foul there right at the 18, and it looks like he's going to get it right here with a free kick right there at the top of the penalty area.
So a dangerous position here to start off early. Not in Frankfort's favor.
Frankfort scored on a penalty kick, or rather a free kick earlier in the first half from close to this same position. And now the Mavericks have a chance to try and cash in as well. And so this will be Pacheco to take the free kick. He tries to arc it inside, and a little too much juice on that one, high over the crossbar.
Got under
and
that
out of play.
But Coach Wheeler, another freshman, Pacheco, along with Ruiz, two freshmen, two midfielders. Talked earlier in the onset about the youth movement of this Mavericks team, and Coach Wheeler very high on those two.
Working it into the middle again. Here come the Mavs, pushing it ahead. Just onside this time is Vened. No, they're going to give the flag. They're certainly going right up to the edge there when it comes to these onside, offside calls. And just offside there, it also looked like maybe one of the other strikers as well, maybe Schumann, was just that side of the last defender to get the offside. This portion of the match brought to you by Ardente Dental, which offers high-tech dentistry with a personal touch. Whether you're a brand new patient or have been with us for years, we're here to serve you. Give us a call at 765-654-7222 or visit us online at ardentedental.com. Ardente Dental, we bring smiles to life. Working a little too quickly that time was the Hot Dogs front line. And the Mavs will send it back into the midfield. Loose ball. Taken up by the Hot Dogs. Here's Cruz Ortiz.
You have a player down in the midfield.
And we're going to have the clock stopped here. And we'll get a look at which player that is down right there close to midfield. And that may appear to be, it's not Castro. And it looks like he's going to get up and shake it off there. That actually looks like it's Saavedra, who has been integral so far here for the Hot Dogs in the midfield.
He's been working hard on both sides. All 3/3 of the pitch, he's been working hard. That's one thing about these young athletes. They can take a blow, but they pop right back up.
So it'll be a ball drop right here at the midfield, and the Mavs will take it. Quickly turn back over here as Alanis will bring it ahead to Castro. And once again, Castro, the lone striker out in front right there on the front line for the Hot Dogs.
We'll see if Coach Tyson talked any to about his club about the spacing, not clumping together and not having anywhere to put any through balls to get any momentum going, to get any push against the Mavericks back line.
Mavs trying to get organized here in the middle of the pitch. Here's Vanetti. And now Saul Banuelos Working right there, some good sportsmanship shown there by the senior striker. And we were talking off air here, John. We haven't seen a whole lot of Benuelos here for the Mavs here in this match.
Have not called his name really at all as far as anything that has been on the offensive side, which we expected a lot of early in this match or through the whole thing. He's been very quiet. The Frankfort Hot Dogs have done a good job of shutting him down offensively.
He's been playing kind of center mid here so far here in this second half. Again, one of the leading goal scorers from a season ago as well as this season here for the Mavs. He takes it now as he works it up top. Put inside, just misses the boot there of Fultz. And easily corralled there by Placencia. Or rather, by Escamilla.
A player who's done a really fantastic job on Frankfurt's back line has been Cervantes, number 10. He has really been a workhorse back there. He's really pretty much shut everything down.
Here come the Hot Dogs, shot inside, and it just goes off of the side of the post, and it does not break the plane. What an opportunity there by the Hot Dogs. And it looked like that time it was Bustos Duarte who got the boot on that one and couldn't quite convert.
The only defender there was the right post.
And now here come the Mavs again. Lots of momentum, shot, and it's in. Go-ahead goal that time by the Mavericks. And give that goal to Neri Pacheco. That's his first goal of the season off of his 6th shot of the year. And is now a 2-1 contest here with Frankfort once again playing from behind.
Talking about an amazing shift right there. Shot off the post, and then the next thing you know, it's in the back of the net completely on the other side of the field. But that's a great shot by Pacheco, just under the outstretched arms of the keeper to put it in the left side of the net.
So 2 goals given up here by the Hot Dogs. This is now the 4th game in a row where they have at least given up 2 goals. Rather, this is the first game that they have given up 2 goals, rather. After being shut out to Logansport, they gave up 3 goals to Logansport, but then they shut out Rossville and then were 2-1 winners over Crawfordsville. So right here with that same outcome at the moment here, 2-1, coming up on the 29th minute. Free kick coming this time here for Gail Hernandez. Long ball sent to the far corner. And it'll go out of play off of the Mavs.
On that shot by Pacheco, Kurt, you can clearly tell because on that set piece, you could see that he lifted that ball and he had his body coming back and was not over the ball. On that breakaway, he was down, he was collected, he was able to get a clean strike on it and put it down and hard past the keeper.
Meanwhile, the Hot Dogs trying to get another one up in front of the Mavs. And Castro just loses the handle on it, and it goes out of play.
And this is exactly what Frankfort needs to do. They just need to keep creating opportunities, put more blue jerseys inside that box, keep the pressure on the Mavs.
Top up this time by Hernandez. Kept in play this time. And a big hard strike that time from Cervantes. Christian Cervantes goes right into the midfielders there of the Mavs, and it finally settles out of play, and it'll be a corner here for Frankfort.
Even though the Mavericks do have that early goal, you can see that the Hot Dogs are much more aggressive in the second half.
Corner coming in here for Frankfort. And it's going to be punched out of there by Placencia. Still an opportunity by Castro. Good defense there by the back line here of the Mavs. Top up again, and waiting too long that time was Marcelino Cervantes. Working it up again. Castro with some help from Mora. And a whistle and a free kick coming up. Tonight's game is brought to you by Frankfort Eagles 976. Serving the community since 1905 with over 900 members locally, Frankfort Eagles offers something for everyone. For more information on who they are and what they do, visit f.o.e.com or stop by the Frankfort Eagles at 408 North Main Street in Frankfort. Shot from outside on the 18, and a good save that time by Escamilla. What a heck of a strike right there by the Mavs.
Solid off the left boot of Benuelos.
And finally, Benuelos getting in on the offensive set pieces here for the Mavs. Working it up again. Here's Schumann. Schumann can't quite get a good handle on it. And some good defense there by Cruz Ortiz. And it looked like we got a foot in the gut there by one of the strikers of the Mavs, and it'll be a free kick here for the Hot Dogs.
So really no surprise of anyone since the temperatures have gone down. The intensity has picked up drastically in this one.
Certainly a beautiful sunset off to the west right now here in Frankfort. It'll be sent long here by Cervantes. Looking up now, an opportunity here this time by Bustos. Missing the handle. Another one here. Bustos tries to keep it in play. And it's surrendered again to the Mavs. Working it up. This time it's Gray. Pushes it ahead this time to Schumann. Schumann with the defender behind him. Gets to the 18. Gets inside. Shot across his body. And a nice defensive play there by the back line of the Hot Dogs. Opportunity again this time by Bustos. Still can't get it to go. And it'll regroup here into the feet of Vanetti.
Benuelos is starting to stake his claim in the middle of that pitch now.
Benuelos, and he sends that one.
That's his third shot. Clearly not on target, but that's his third shot already in this half.
So a big miss hit right there by Benuelos as we hit the 26th minute, and several substitutions coming on here for the Mavericks. So they're basically doing a line change here. As you see several players coming back in here, the likes of Tony Villegas back into the ball game. He had the goal to put the Mavs up 1-0 early in the 15th minute of the first half. And you also see Angel Tovar back into the lineup as well.
We'll see how the complexion of the game changes with him back in.
The Hot Dogs keeping up the intensity now as Mora works it up. Hudspeth gets it back to Mora. Cross inside this time to Castro. Hudspeth now at the 18. Tries to turn the corner. Good defense there by the midfielders of the Mavs. Cervantes in some traffic. Loses the handle. Going to be picked up this time by Vasquez Saavedra. He gets knocked to the ground. And here come the Mavericks. Intercepted, though, in the midfield by the Hot Dogs. Castro trying to track it down, but it's going to be played. And this time it looks like Riley Slunaker is now into the goal here for the Mavericks, coming in for Placencia. Escamilla gets it out of the penalty area. It goes out of play, and it'll be a throw in here for the Hot Dogs.
One thing that Frankfort could not get caught up on is trying to win this game at this moment. You've got to get one back before you can do anything.
Still a lot of time left to go here as the clock continues to wind. And again, those of you who may be new to high school soccer, 2 40-minute halves, no stoppage time. And in the regular season, we play to a draw, no overtime. Good opportunity here by the Mavs, again broken up by the back line of the Hot Dogs. Now pressuring things here is Bustos. And he loses it out of play, and we'll get a stoppage again as we have another Hot Dog player on the ground. And it looks like it is Christian Cervantes. who is slow to get up here for Frankfort. Christian Cervantes, the senior defender, has gotten some good touches here today as the athletic training staff comes on. And it looks like he may be favoring his right leg here. So it looks like we're going to get a substitution. And so good news there as Cervantes is going to be able to walk off under his own power. Of course, at this point, this might be a good time for some of the players to get a quick swig of water, and it looks like the referee is going to signal this as the hydration break, as you see a lot of the players going to their respective sidelines. Still the temperature going down, and as you mentioned, John, that has really ramped up the intensity of this ball game.
They've had the halftime to rest up and get some water inside of them, and with the sun going down, temperatures have dropped. It has to be at least a 7-8 temperature degree drop here on the field, but the intensity has picked up, and now it's got to pick up more on behalf of Frankfort because of that early goal. Frankfort has picked up their intensity and their momentum tenfold in the second half. You can see that. But as you saw, shot goes off the post, quick shift of momentum down the pitch entirely in the same possession. Next thing you know, it's in the back of the net for the Mavericks. They're up 2-1. So Frankfurt's just got to maintain their control, maintain their emotions right now, because as I just mentioned, you can't get 2 and 1. You have to get one back, tie this thing up 2-2, and then go for the kill. But right now you can only get one back. Play for that first goal right now.
Sometimes the game of soccer comes down to just dumb luck. And on that missed opportunity that went off the side post, that is exactly what it was right there for the Hot Dogs. So with everybody hydrated up, we play on. 23 minutes left to go here in this match. And the throw-in coming from the corner here for the Hot Dogs. It's quickly taken back this time by Caden Sluniker, who is into the ball game here for the first time for the Mavs, the junior midfielder. Working it as Angel Tovar. He's triple teamed in the corner right now, and he's just going to send that off of one of the Frankfurt defenders, and it'll be a corner.
This is really an opportunity where the Mavs can benefit from their height advantage. They haven't had a lot of corners. We haven't seen a lot of corners in this game, but this is an area where
corner sent in, and the header goes over the top bar.
That's where they can do it. They just have that height advantage, but no dice on that one.
So the goal kick here. And again, it'll be Marcelino Cervantes doing the honors. He sends it back into the midfield. Here's Villegas. And he lets things organize. Trying to send it up here to Pacheco. And it's going to be sent out of play there by the back line of the Hot Dogs. Here is Hudspeth. He sends it ahead, trying to find Bustos. And it goes out of play. Still a throw in here for Frankfurt. You're seeing a lot more of that Frankfurt speed piggybacking off of the more intensity that you're seeing from the Hot Dogs here in this second half. Given up to the Mavs, they send it ahead. Here's Plantenga. Back to Villegas. Villegas now leaves it for Tovar, who sends it ahead this time to Sluniker. Villegas. Here's Gray with it. He tries to push it ahead. Kept in here by the Mavs. Only for a moment as the Hot Dogs begin to clear it out.
One thing that has been much better for Frankfurt's defense in this half is one man going to the ball. They're not taking 2-3 guys and joining on that ball and allowing 2-3 open guys in the midfield.
The Hot Dogs working their way up the far sideline, only to have that attack null and void here as we get it back over with the Mavs. Pushing it ahead, an opportunity now. Touched up. Goal number 3 for the Mavs. Neri Pacheco with goal number 2 on the night here in the 20th minute.
That's just a great volley from Pacheco. Now with the brace on the afternoon, or on the evening, I should say. But that's just a good one-touch and just flicked it over the keeper. Now it's 3-1.
This portion of the match and that goal brought to you by Healthy Communities of Clinton County, where we want to thank our friends of Healthy Community of Clinton County, where recovery is possible. If you want someone you love who is struggling with addiction, to reach out to Healthy Communities at 659-6063 or go online at healthyclintoncounty.org. And right back at it are the Mavs here as they keep the pressure up off of that big goal.
Well, there was a reason that Coach Wheeler was excited about his 2 young freshmen, Ruiz and Pacheco, and you're seeing that here tonight.
And some harassment right there by the back line. And quickly Cervantes trying to get the ball rolling, no pun intended, but they have him redo the kick. "20 minutes to go here in the second half. 3/4 of the way gone. 3 goals here by the Mavericks to go up 3-1. Again, the Mavericks working on trying to get their first win of the season here tonight after dropping their first 2 to Zionsville and North Central, 2 very tough 3A opponents to get things going in this season. Elijah Martinez into the lineup now for the Hot Dogs. He's the senior midfielder working it up top. Back the other way we come here with the Mavs. Ahead we go again. And that's Pacheco once again working it up, trying to find a hat trick here as he. But some solid defense right there by the Hot Dog back line. And a free kick coming for Frankfort.
The offensive momentum has changed since we've seen Tovar back on the pitch since that substitution.
You mentioned it earlier, and that seems to be a little bit of a factor here, I would say. Sluniker from the near side, trying to give himself some room. Harassed there by Hudspeth. Villegas.
That's good defense.
He loses the handle this time to Mora. But back right into the hand, and to the feet rather. This time Slunaker. Can't get that one to go. Cervantes tries to clear it out, and he's able to get some opening to Hudspeth. Mora again loses it. Tovar. Back to Villegas. Now to Gray. And a whistle away from the ball.
Cervantes has really had to work hard tonight.
It's been a struggle. Trying to push it far side this time to Centoyo. And it's a little too far for him. Several substitutions coming back in for both teams here. We'll see Jose Moro Munoz in for the Mavericks in the midfield. Also in for Frankfurt is Cesar Alanis, who will take over here at that near side back. Cervantes with the long boot sends it back in. Ever since that third goal, the Mavericks defense has really ramped up the pressure. Every time that Frankfurt gets at least one touch, there is always a player right there to harass them quickly.
And something we saw, and I don't believe he's out there now, Kurt, but we saw that kind of sudden explosion of offense from Banuelos, who we hadn't talked about in the whole first half. Once he started getting touches, once he started getting shots, that opened it up for Pacheco. He got those 2 quick goals, and all of a sudden the offensive explosion happened. The floodgates open, and that really opened it up. I think Frankfort was concerned about that, kind of left Pacheco out there by himself, and here we are 3-1 now.
Cervantes on the long free kick. Can't quite get anything to make of it going into the penalty area. And when all is said and done, a free kick coming here for the Mavs. And so they're going to have Gio Ramirez bring that all the way back out here. Long ball from Ramirez.
Ramirez, a cross-country runner. He could probably run 2 of these. If we had to play another 80, he'd probably be fine with it.
Well, it's certainly interesting. A lot of the coaches that I've run into over the years who have managed soccer teams, I've always asked them, how long do you think, how much distance do you think that a typical soccer player runs in a typical match? And you usually hear about anywhere between 3 to 7 miles from what I've heard, depending on who you ask. They do cover a lot of distance on this pitch.
You definitely have to be cut out for it.
Pushed ahead again, and they're going to get the Mavs for offsides. Santoyo trying to get a little bit of a jump right there. So the free kick about 60 yards out from the goal here for the Hot Dogs. Entering the final 15 minutes here of this match. Off of the knee there of Cervantes.
With just over 14 minutes left, you're quite not out of the weeds yet. There's just quite a bit of time left, but it's going to take a lot of quick strikes from Frankfort, and you're kind of in that point for Coach Wheeler and his Mavs where you can kind of get some rest for your starters and look forward to that next game against Logansport.
They also have a match coming up for the Hot Dogs against North Montgomery coming up here on August 24th. Of course, North Montgomery, the volleyball team, was here this evening at Case Arena taking on the Hot Dog volleyball team. And Frankfort's North Montgomery game on August 24th will be their final game of a 4-game homestand before they go on the road just a little bit south of here to take on Lebanon. As you mentioned, Logansport, one of the few opponents on both of these schedules that these two teams share. Again, the Hot Dogs lost to Logansport 3-0 to open the season on the road up north. Here's the take this time by Martinez. He tries to cross it. Instead, he just sends it out the back line. And a goal kick here for the Mavericks.
Yeah, for Frankfort, you definitely don't want to look past this game. You still have about 13 minutes to play. But when you're looking ahead at North Montgomery, a team that is young, fairly new, have been outscored 2-26 so far in this young season, but they're out there playing just as hard as you are, so it's a game that you have to be prepared for regardless of the outcome of this one. You play these final 13 minutes, you play hard, you play well, you get prepared for that one.
That'll also be the second game of conference play. Working the middle, pushing it ahead. This is Munoz trying to turn the corner. Goes out of bounds. A throw in here for the Hot Dogs. Tonight's game is brought to you by Day and Genda Funeral Home, where they believe in putting family first. As active members of the community, they know that when dealing with a loss, seeing a familiar face and being treated like a family is important. Day and Genda Funeral Home will serve your family in a unique and loving way and be the family that you need. For more information about the services of Day and Genda Funeral Home offers, visit dayandgenda.com. Again, he's John Cupo. I'm Kurt Darling. Approaching the final 11 minutes here of this match. Was certainly back and forth there for a while, but then 2 goals late here by the Mavericks. Make it 3-1 after it was tied 1-1 at the half. Again, Neri Pacheco. 2 of those goals coming here in the second half. Here is Muro Munoz. Gives it to Fultz. Back in the middle now. Hudspeth again. Getting it stolen away this time by Banuelos. Here's Fultz with a little bit of an opening. And the defense too much for him right there on that back line. And it is sent out of play. And John, one thing I'm noticing again here for Frankfort is just looking very reminiscent of that 30 to 10 minute range there of the first half where they just can't get anything going with maybe only 1 or 2 touches at least whenever they try and get something going on offense.
Yeah, you're starting to see a lot more white jerseys than you are blue, just where the ball is. And they're converting on it when the Mavericks have the ball. It just seems that they're intrigued to have 2 or 3 guys attack that ball. They're not attacking the man. They're kind of not playing the space. And that's leaving open Mavericks. And just you can see the momentum shift already that a lot of the offense is now on the right side of the pitch in favor of the Mavericks' third of the half.
The Hot Dogs sending it ahead. Easily put back over again by the Mavericks. Tovar. Taken up this time by Bustos. And again shoved out of bounds there by Sam Puentes. On the back line for McCutcheon. And a quick whistle as we'll get a quick substitution here for the Mavs. And it looks like that will be Angel Tovar coming out of the ball game. Up ahead, Hudspeth nearly gets a foot on that one, but it's corralled there by Riley Sluniker.
And you could see on that touch, Kurt, is that even though Hudspeth was there, he was the only player there. You had the goalie coming out. You had 2 defenders flanking him. So it was almost a mass gathering where that ball placement was. Just Frankfurt's tired. The heat caught up to him. The fatigue has caught up with him.
Can certainly understand why. It was a hot one at opening kick at around 7:30 here this evening. Now pushing just past the 9 o'clock hour. It's cooled down some, but it is still plenty hot and still plenty humid here with 8 minutes left to go.
And we can stand up here in a booth and talk about temperature changes and everything like that, but we're not down there running around on the field with other bodies and banging and hitting each other and everything like that. So it's a much different environment down there in the field, and these kids are giving it their all.
Corner here for Frankfort. Easily headed out that time by Corbin Vanetti. Up top again this time. Cruz Ortiz looking for something. He's directing some traffic and just kicks it right into the feet of the defenders. Still coming down. Cruz Ortiz again, still being harassed. He is not giving up on that ball. And the Mavs finally clear it. But once again, there is Cruz Ortiz. He sends it ahead this time to Martinez. Outside Bustos. Doesn't have a lot of room to work. And they're going to get Frankfort for offsides. Rather correction, it's going to be a throw-in coming up. It goes out of play.
And this is sort of just an aesthetic thing that I'm seeing, but because of the size of the Mavericks, the shorter Frankfort players, when they're looking for players, they cannot see over the larger Mavericks players. So when they're kicking, trying to look for space, they cannot see through these taller Maverick defenders. So they're just kind of kicking it or passing it in the blind space, not seeing those blue jerseys.
That can certainly be a factor. Again, lots of size that the Mavericks certainly employ as part of their strategy. Out of bounds we go as we have 6.5 minutes left to go in this contest. Tonight's game brought to you by FiberHawk, which is now available. Super fast, high-speed internet, no more buffering, and perfect for all sizes of business. FiberHawk offers every speed to meet your internet needs. For more on offerings and availability, go to fiberhawk.com or call 765-922-HAWK. Fast, affordable, FiberHawk. And we're going to have the clock stopped here as we have another injured player. Looks like we have a cramp being dealt with on the far sideline there. And believe it or not here, John, I'm surprised that we haven't had more cramping issues.
I didn't want to jinx it
because
I was keeping quiet the whole match. That was very surprising.
As we've mentioned all night long, it is hot and it is humid. And it looks like that might be... That is Orlando Vasquez Saavedra, who will be coming out of the ball game here with looks like a good old cramp in his calf.
Well, if there's one player that's probably seen every square inch of this field tonight, it's been him. He's been everywhere.
He has been all over the place, both on the front line and in the midfield. So it looks like we're going to get the clock reset here once we get a number from the officials. So getting things organized here are the officials here as we wait. And so they're going to put 5:56 back on the game clock.
You know, if you're Coach Tyson at this point, it's kind of a mixed bag of what you want to see. You don't want to see anybody else get hurt. Now you're worried about cramping because you just saw it from one of your best players going down and whatnot. But you want to see maximum effort from your kids. You want to see them play the full 80 minutes. You want to give it all that you can because in a 3-1 game, you're playing a 2A school or you're playing a 3A school. This is kind of what you're not going to see when you start your conference schedule, which I believe you said starts after this upcoming game. So get what you can in now. Get your licks in. Play through these adverse conditions because when September rolls around, you know, if you don't like the weather in Indianapolis, wait 5 minutes. It'll change on you. But the temperatures are going to cool down. You're going to get some cooler temperatures, play better soccer, but just play these final 5 minutes out as hard as you can.
The Mavs are still going as hard as they can here as Schumann had a really good look there across the penalty area. But it just goes across here as we'll stop the clock again.
Well, if there's one thing that we've learned about the state of soccer around Indiana is that if there's one coach that doesn't want you to give up no matter how much time is left, no matter how much you're up, no matter how much you've been down, it's Coach Boyd Wheeler of McCutcheon. You can ask his kid Cameron about that.
We play on. Indeed, Cameron Wheeler, part of the McCutcheon team that won a sectional back in 2018. Of course, Frankfort, they were certainly poised to have a deep run in the playoffs just a season ago, but they ran into that juggernaut of West Lafayette where they lost 6-2 in the sectional opener after winning 10 matches in the regular season. Their only 2 losses on the year came to West Lafayette. As we enter the final 3 minutes. at the top. Benuelos again has had kind of a quiet night here as he gets a couple shots here in this second half. 3 of them right back to back. They're at about the 20-minute mark, which really spurred things on for the Mavericks, as you mentioned, to get Pacheco going. Good ball inside. And Bustos is unable to do anything with it, but it'll be a throw-in.
Steven Contreras, another one of those football players that laces him up on Friday nights. He's had a good night defensively for the Mavs.
Approaching 2 minutes. Here's Fultz. He pushes it ahead to Vanetti. That'll go out of play. So with 2.5 minutes to go. Again, the Mavericks going to be taking on Logansport. Going on the road yet again coming up here on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Hot Dogs, they have a date right here at Frankfort against North Montgomery to start conference play. Sloonacre will give off the honors here to Ramirez. Of course, you mentioned the Frankfort football team here, John. They're going to be taking on Clinton Prairie here this Friday. A good inter-Clinton County matchup after beating Clinton Central 44-20 to get an opening season victory on the gridiron for the Hot Dogs.
And talking with Coach Tyson, it was something that he wanted to mention. It was something that kind of the town was seeing as a community itself, is that this has always been a football, basketball town. But with the emergence of what the soccer program has become over the past few years, it's not shifting towards that directly. He had mentioned both the soccer programs and the baseball programs, but athletic director Ed Niehaus has got to be enthused of where this program is headed, where it is right now, moving forward to, I guess, piggyback off of the success of what football and basketball has done over the past few years.
Certainly lots of historic accolades for both of those programs. Of course, you have historic Case Arena just over, as you have a nice defensive play taken up there by Cruz Ortiz. So we're in the final minute. We're going to stop the clock here only for a moment as we get some last-minute substitutions here for the Mavs. Coming off will be Corbin Vanetti. He's had a good night both on the front and the back here for the Mavericks. So the final few seconds will wind down here. And McCutcheon will collect their first victory of the season, moving to 1-2 on the year. Again, after having that tough opening slate against Zionsville and North Central. Meanwhile, the Hot Dogs, they'll fall to 2-2 at 500 on the year, but still almost a good opportunity there to get going. But Castro going to be called offsides. So that'll be the last offensive possession there for the Hot Dogs, and that'll take us to the conclusion of this match. Final score here at 3-1. McCutcheon knocks off the Frankfort Hot Dogs. So our Frankfort Eagles Clinton County Player of the Game, we're going to give this one to Neri Pacheco of McCutcheon. Had 2 goals on the night, putting them up 3-1 on the evening. Well, John, privilege working with you tonight, my friend. An excellent win here for the Mavericks. And then the Frankfort Hot Dogs, they have a lot to think about here coming up here on their next match.
It's a tough 3-1 loss against a bigger, stronger, just really out-hustled them throughout the whole game. It's just one of those things where it's this 3A school playing a 2A school. Nothing against Frankfort, just had to play them for a tough 80 minutes. And the size and the strength of the Mavs caught up with them later on in the game. you got to just move on to the next one. Put this one in the vault, put it on the shelf, say goodbye, and let's go on to you mentioned it. They play North Montgomery next, so let's go on to that one this Thursday.
Well, looking forward to our next broadcast together, my friend.
Appreciate it, partner.
Final score once again here, 3-1. Frankfort gets knocked off by McCutcheon. This broadcast was a partnership between the Hot Dog Network and the ISC Sports Network. Big shout out to our student crew, Evans McCouria, Eli Gresham, Riley Ramsey, and Chris Rascom, with our director, Richard Sally. For John Cupo, I am Kurt Darling, saying so long till next time. You have been watching Hot Dog Soccer here on the Hot Dog Network and the ISC Sports Network.
Some see a student athlete working on a shot. We see a powerful lesson in persistence. Some see a student preparing for success on an exam. We see a student athlete preparing for success in life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Sometimes it's tough being a dad. Kids grow up fast. Hey, girls. Oh, love it.
Dad, what are you doing?
I'm TikToking.
Is he serious?
Don't even want me around anymore. You know when I first started noticing it? When I stopped getting hugs. Hugs mean a lot to a dad. So, with Command IQ, I found a way to get the hugs back. Watch.
Dad, the Wi-Fi is down.
Oh, let me see if I can fix it.
It's back. Thanks, Dad. You're the best.
With Command IQ, you can bring the hugs back.